Corvus, can you help us out? Good boy. Okay, so this is Corvus. He is a giant golden doodle, and we're gonna look at some body language with him. Good news is he has a tail, so he's easy to read in that regard. He has floppy ears, which can actually be a little tricky to read because it can be harder to tell what's happening with them, but he has a really expressive tail, so that helps us. So let's take a look at him. So let's start with the tail first. His tail looks great right now. This is what we call a working tail. So if you take a look, let me get next to him. Do you see, we don't look at the tip of his tail, we look at the base of his tail, where it meets his body. And you can see that it is level. It's like a straight line right here. And it's also just a little bit low. You don't look at the top of the tail because a lot of dogs have naturally curly tails, so it doesn't tell you much. So you look at where it meets his body. Having a level tail like that, or one that's even slightly lower, that tells us that he is calm and he's focused on what he's doing, but he's not fixated, he's not high stimulation, he's not stressed, and he's not fearful. If his tail were tucked underneath him, that would be a fear response, but that's not what's happening here. So when we look at him, we see now his tail is lower, but we look at the rest of the dog. Now he's starting to walk, his tail is coming up again. So that tells us that's not a fearful low tail. That's just a normal working tail. He is grazing on some grass and he's just having a good time. So tail checks out. Let's look at the rest of the body. If we look at his ears, hey Corvus, can we see your ears? So when dogs have floppy ears, they're harder to read. So we want to look similar to the tail. You look at the base of his ears, where his ears meet his head. And you try to determine if they are stiff or loose, if they are pinned, if they are forward, and then we kind of take that all together and look at the data. So looking at Corvus here, hey Corvus, you sit? Yeah, he's such a good boy. So his ears right here are nice and loose. If he is fearful, even with these loose floppy ears, you can see that they pin back because they have muscles here at the base of their ears that can move independently of one another. Our ears are not pinned. Oh my goodness. Our ears are not pinned. That's exactly what we want to see. They're loose and floppy. If his ears were pointed forward, you would even be able to see that with his floppy ears. You have to look at the base of his ears, but you would be able to see that right here, they would be kind of pointing forward. And that would tell us he's high arousal, he's fixated on something. We see none of that. He's nice and loose and wiggly. Corvus! The other thing we want to look at is his body. Hi. You can see that his body, just kind of watch it move for a second. It's nice and loose and fluid. Corvus! If you take a look, yep, there we go. So we have nice fluid movements. He is not showing any tension in his muscles. So you kind of look at his muscles and he's just puttering along. If he were to be stiff, good boy, if he were to be stiff, if he was leaning forward as if he was going to pounce, if he was leaning back like he had to flee, those are all indications, obviously, he's not comfortable. Right now, his body is super, super loose. And we look at the other signals as well. Tail looks good, ears look good. That tells us we have a pretty calm dog. Corvus! Now when we look at his eyes, hi fella, you look at his eyes. Can you sit so I can see them? Good boy. So when you look at his eyes, you see mostly just the iris, the part that has the color, and the pupil, the part that is dark. We don't see a lot of the whites of his eyes, and that's also a good sign. If you see a lot of the whites of a dog's eyes, their eyes are open really wide, sometimes they might be looking at you out of the corner of their eye, that's called a whale eye, and that's a stress sign. It tells you that whatever is happening, the dog is uncomfortable. And then you want to check out the rest of the dog's body to see what other signs you see, and then you also look at the environment. Good boy. That was a little shake off, which was, okay, I'm done with petting, now I want to sniff. Good boy. Shake off is a good sign that a dog is done with whatever is happening. And then let's just follow him again. And you can see Corvus. Hi, buddy. And if you see, once you say his name, he gets even looser and more wiggly, which is another sign that you have a nice, calm, happy dog. If I were to say his name and he would stiffen instead or move away, that's a warning sign that he's not feeling great. But if you take a look, we have none of that. There's no tension in his body. Everything is loose and floppy. He will solicit petting when he wants. He will accept petting if I give it to him. But if he shakes off like that and walks away, it just means, hey, I'm sniffing now. I don't need this. Good boy, Corvus. And let's just do one more check. Corvus! And he says, I'm sniffing. I'm sniffing. Hi, Fenton.